Hello everybody, and Jess here, and welcome back to Ooyukiumi no Kaina, episode 11, the penultimate, really. It is the finale of the anime series, but not the finale of Ooyukiumi no Kaina as a whole. Because we need to remember that there is a movie also in the works. So instead of episode 12, we will get my cat, and that was her tail. No, instead of episode 12, we will not get my cat. We will get a full-scale movie. Well, it remains to be seen whether it's gonna be full-scale or not. It could be 2 hours long, it could be 40 minutes long. I heard either form factor be called a movie. Really, I feel like anything that's released standalone and longer than the standard anime episode can be, or has been at some point or another, qualified as a movie, so we'll see. It could be, as I said, 2-3 hours more of Ooyukiumi no Kaina. It could be essentially a two-parter episode smashed into a single movie. We'll see. Regardless of that, what we will see immediately in episode 11 is the continuation of the Battle of Atland. Valgia is attacking with their architect Mecha, who I did hear, or rather I did read, is an actual, or similar to a construction mecha from one of the other series of the same author. So that kind of checks out, because Kaina's laser cutter was also manufactured by one of the companies of that world. It's interesting how that author essentially created a multiverse of his works. Yeah, it's cool. I like it. Thumbs up. Regardless, what we will see is, of course, the continuation of the Battle of Atland. Atlandians are, of course, losing, although just about barely. Sure, Atlant can't exactly win with the architect, but the architect is slightly indisposed. There's some visual glitches going on in a cockpit, and well, that's about the extent of it. So not particularly much, and some sort of an interference if the signs that light up the cockpit are to be believed. So Atlanteans are probably on a fairly lost position. We don't know what's gonna happen at Valgia. There is a little bit of civil unrest because the news about the Great Orbital Tree has been spread sufficiently, and people start questioning, why are we fighting? Why do we do that if there is actually a way? If a sage or a sage's apprentice came down to us and said, hey, yo, there's that thing, and we chased them off, we tried to kill the princess that brought the sage, are we the baddies? Should we really keep with Valgia, stay with Valgia, or should we maybe, I don't know, revolt or something? The Admiral isn't here, Ameloth, well, she's busy, so maybe something could be done from the inside out that might cause Valgia's demise. Or at least balkanization, if we can talk about balkanization on such a small scale, such a small level. Although the Admiral doesn't particularly care. As he said himself, is there anything back in Valgia whose death would matter? Chances are no. They're just a bunch of regular people, bunch of civilians, bunch of commoners who are maybe not freeloaders, but they are just a workforce. They are there just to move around some boxes. They aren't growing anything from what we've seen. They aren't distilling water. They're only loafing about, drinking water-like fluid and moving a box every now and then, from what we've seen again. So he's kind of right. At a very pragmatic level, there isn't anybody whose death would matter on Valgia. So that's interesting where it's gonna go. Everybody saw the Ascender. That was presented as important. I'm gonna say it that way because ultimately it was fairly inconsequential. The Ascender showed up and made a big show of it, right? A huge protector of the seas, protector of Atlant, rises up from the bottom of the sea, and then just the Admiral smacks him, and the Ascender just poofs out of existence, and that's about it. Now, sure, people have been struck with awe. Both people of Atlant, it boosted their morale, and people of Valgia, who now see that, hey, yo, that thing is real. So, if the Ascender is real, what else is real? Is the Great Orbital Tree also real? Is the Sage also real? Made them question reality a little. Made even Amelothe take a step back and watch in awe. But I'm afraid the defeat of the Ascender might have undone all those effects. Or at least the morale boost. We'll see about that, I guess. And also, important thing that I didn't notice initially, or maybe I did, but I didn't pay enough attention to that or pay it enough mind, that after the Ascender was popped, it started raining water. Not whatever ocean fluid there is, but water. Actual drinkable, at least presumably, water. Which is interesting because that would mean perhaps somewhere below whatever fluid is there is another sea with water, or perhaps there are still water veins underground, or something like that. Or perhaps the water is different. Maybe it's heavy water. What if it is heavy water? Or what if it is, I don't know, perhydral? Those are also possibilities. That the sea would be made of heavy water or perhydral. I don't know the densities. I don't know if it would matter for floating or not, but perhaps the Ascender has a way to refine it. There was also another interesting theory I read, that perhaps the light, the spirit, is an orbital tree seed, one of the last remaining. And the Ascender form is essentially slowly starting to grow another orbital tree, and the orbital trees are somehow filtering whatever fluid there is, turning it into water, or processing it, filtering it, whatever, turning that into water and storing it, pumping it up. For what reason? I don't know. Many theories, plenty theories, and I'm afraid none of them will be answered by the end of this episode, and we will have to wait for the movie. It very much feels like the mainline show will be just about the Atlantean War, and then the war will be concluded, the good guys will win, presumably, and the movie will be more adventure style, going to find the orbital tree. That's, again, entirely 100% just my assumption, though. But I guess it would make nice breakpoint, because if they don't resolve the Atlantean War, then we will have to wait for the movie to pick up from there, and then a part of the movie will be taken up by the finale of the war, and the rest will be journey to the orbital tree. That wouldn't flow well, would it? And it would also introduce a pretty damn big cliffhanger, which this series isn't really notorious for. There aren't really any super heavy cliffhangers. A couple cliffhangers here and there, but nothing like, wait until 3 seasons in the future until the movie comes out. So, we'll see. I keep repeating that, but that is the truth. We will see. We will see right now, actually. You can sync up your own copy with the subs at the bottom, as usual, and I'm gonna need my sound to hear the sounds from this anime, and your support, of course. Support the channel monetarily, Patreon, for example, or not. Share my content, spread the word, costs you nothing, helps a lot. And with that out of the way, we can start watching episode 11, the penultimate/ultimate one of Ooyukiumi no Kaina, in 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, the rain from the Ascender did mess up the sight of the architect. And of course, I forgot about our main trio. I was too busy with the story and the world building and the implications of it all. But of course, Kaina and Yaona went their own way. Kaina cranked up the laser cutter. No, he's not trying to destroy anything. He's just trying to wage war. That's all he wants. But yeah, Liliha is on her own, trying to run to her father to show the map. And Kaina and Yaona are on their own. And of course, Admiral is targeting Liliha. I like their volley. I just noticed the volley they're firing. Every other gunner comes forward, takes a shot, and then they swap places. They can shoot twice as often. The fire can be much more continuous. What the fuck are you doing? Yeah, he just likes war. I mean, if there was no confirmation before, and I believe there was plenty, this is essentially a direct confirmation. The beginning of this episode that he just wants to fuck shit up. He doesn't want to rule the world. He doesn't want Valgia to do better. He doesn't want to destroy Atlant, not in the way of, there's Atlanteans. No, he just wants to fuck shit up. When the entire world is conquered and it's all just Valgia, he's gonna organize fucking gladiatorial fight inside of Valgia. Until he's the last man standing, and he's gonna fight to the death with, I don't know, Amelothe. And then he's gonna off himself laughing maniacally, ending the human race. He's this kind of character. Also, interesting detail that I didn't put two and two together in the previous episode. I don't think the Admiral can read those warning signs. I don't think he knows that there's some operational interference or whatever going on. He just sees, ooh, pretty light, gets a shot of dopamine and continues fighting. Not with your acorn guns, no. Of course, Liliha on a rescue mission to save some little girl or something, putting herself in harm's way. Gee, could use a laser cutter, huh? Is the map gonna be destroyed? She laid it on the ground. Is it gonna be destroyed? With? Yeah. You need to decide, weigh the options. Yeah, it's burning. Something tells me it's not gonna be quick. Kaina ex machina with the laser cutter. I mean, you've been working under him for how long? Having second guesses, huh? Yep. 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 Civil unrest. Not just civil unrest, unrest in the military. What did I say? He just wants to have fun. The demon that dwells within all weapons. Interesting. Are we having some sort of a machine spirit situation here? Just pull her the fuck out! Just pull her out! Just pull her out! Grab her by the legs and fucking pull! And there goes your map. Fucking hell! Could have used your coat! Could have fucking thrown her into the sea! Now we have no proof for the king. Now you have no... Unless some of you remembered how to get there. But I guess it doesn't fucking matter now! Because you burned the map. You still have what exactly? Your word. Which we all know the king has complete and utter disregard for. Toa Heavy Industries, that's the company from other work of the author, and it's the same company that made your laser cutter. Sure, any minute now. Yep. I recognize this voice. Yep. Oh, gonna try Talk no Jutsu. Talk no Jutsu indeed. Just stab the Admiral in the back. He's vulnerable. I hope that's actually how it ends. He just comes up onto the boat, stabs him in the back, and that ends the war. Like, the solution seems very simple, doesn't it? Yep. Yes, actually. I don't know, like a rug. There is a copy of it in the king's chambers. It's kind of like degraded and stuff, but ultimately it's the same thing. So you can still read it. You can still read the remains of the words, and seeing how the map itself didn't really use words, you can see where's the rift. You can see where are the trees, right? So and here's the Great Orbital Tree. Hello, princess. She's gonna pick up the gun. Yeah, I'm glad you came to. No, he's not gonna hear you. Meanwhile, the Admiral can. Testicular torsion? She's gonna use the cannon, isn't she? And you're just fucking standing there. Run! I know, anything. Oh, well, she has aim. Gonna give her that. She's got some great aim. Matcha, mint, and lime. Kaina? Watch the laser cutter double as a remote control for this thing. He's gonna. You bet your ass. What spilled? Use the cutter? Or is he just gonna scream a shutdown command or something? Did he read it on one of the plaques? That'd be hilarious if he screamed, "Emergency shut off!" and this thing just fucking turned off. Max power! Yes! Yes! Max power cutter! Come on! Don't make me wait! Oh boy! Oh boy! I didn't expect this sort of power. Holy fuck, you could carve the planet in half with this shit. Who made this thing? And for what purpose? Who needs a laser cutter with a setting obliterate the moon? I think he's intimately familiar with the fact that the builder has been destroyed. Yes! Sorry. Oh, my neighbors are gonna hate me. Yes! Yes! So simple, so easy, so fucking unceremonious. There was no big speech. There was no, we're the same, you and I. Just a fucking headshot and done. I love this show. I love this show. What can I say? Yeah, it could cut your Valga in half. They don't know, we just ran out of juice, but let's not tell them. Call for surrender. There we go, white flag. Glad that thing remained. Didn't you see the beam of light? Hell fucking yeah, you lost. And I guess that solves the problem of procuring a Valgian ship. Just roll up to Amelote, say, I need a ship, or else you get a beam, and you're gonna get a ship. Some peace talks. Yeah, same company. Who makes a laser cutter whose lowest setting is notching the bark, and the strongest setting is cutting the planet in half? Do they make drills where the lowest setting is put a screw in a hole and the highest setting is fucking drill for oil? Because I want one. There is another one in the King's Chamber. He made a copy. He remembers where it is. You could scavenge a lot of useful technology from the corpse, the wreckage. He's the hero of Atlant. And he is the hero of Atlant. He better get some fucking recognition for that headshot. Peace talks. Peace talks. Okay. Taking a knee. Stand up. We're friends, are we not? Or at least we're equals. Okay, giving some water to the Valgians. That's a nice gesture. Okay, that's the perfect setup for the movie. Okay, taking the snow foil. Making a big-ass ship with some... Oh, I thought those are markings on the ship. No, this is a graveyard. Oh, Oh, that's cool, actually. Oh, wait, what? I thought they have a tradition of sending corpses floating because they have no graveyards, but no, they're just all visiting the canopy? I did not expect a return to the canopy. Okay, that's perfect setup for the movie. That's the perfect setup for the movie. I wonder if there's gonna be some after credit scene. I wasn't this excited over an episode of anime in a long while. I genuinely don't remember last time when I laughed so much from sheer joy. And I don't think I ever screamed in front of camera. But this was just perfect. This was just perfect. I mean, what can I say? This was genuinely just perfect. Okay, the end there could use some more pacing. This episode really should be like half an hour long. The floating up to the canopy kind of came out of the ass, but whatever. I'm not gonna hold it against them too much. Although I probably would have liked it if they didn't have the ending, and perhaps even didn't have the opening, and just played the credits and the music over this like montage that they had at the end. But the montage itself was a little bit more, contained more stuff. But overall, I mean, shit. You saw my reaction. You saw my reaction. You know what I think of this episode. Okay, and now we're gonna watch it again. There's still a ways off until the movie, so we can just savor what we have. I really thought, even Amelothe, like against what Admiral is doing, and everybody is noticing it. I really thought there's gonna be some civil unrest. The civilians are gonna go against the soldiers. Amelothe is gonna stab the Admiral in the back, something like that. But we would need a little more time for it. And honestly, I like the way it went anyway. Admiral is the one operating the builder. They are calling it builder or architect interchangeably. That's kind of odd, but I guess it mostly means the same thing. And I think in the other series of the author, it was actually called builder something. So I guess it's more true to the multiverse theory, so to speak. Or perhaps not even multiverse. Perhaps it's just the same universe, the exact same universe, but thousands of years into the future, or it's a colony planet in the very same universe of the author. I did not expect him to just climb up. I thought this helmet mostly transfers his movements, his consciousness into the mecha, right? That if he moves an arm, or rather, it cuts off his body, and when he moves an arm, his body doesn't move an arm, but the builder does instead. That's usually how it's portrayed. But apparently, he can choose to move, so perhaps the interface is a little different. I'm not sure. I wonder how it is in the other series of this author. I was about to say, assuming there are mobile suits in other series of the author, but I just said that a builder robot, although autonomous, is a part of one of their series. OP. Scale of Hope. I really thought it's gonna be Kaina Ex Machina here. That Kaina is gonna come in with the laser cutter to even more strongly establish or re-establish the fact that he does, in fact, have the cutter, and that it does, in fact, have a use. But no, it's Liliha on her own trying to destroy the hinges, I guess. And yeah, everybody is having doubts. Even this guy, who's the biggest ass licker for the Admiral that we've seen so far. Even Amelothe was more apprehensive of the Admiral than this guy, and even he's like, damn, shit. He really did it, didn't he? Yeah, sure, that's something he'd do, but damn, I didn't actually expect it. Grinding the teeth. Yeah, everybody's angry with the Admiral. Everybody's, yeah, the order to pull back so that no more things get destroyed, no more ships get destroyed. That pretty much, again, confirms what I believed, that perhaps this guy and Amelothe are in some capacity fighting for Valga, fighting for survival. But the Admiral couldn't give two shits about it if he wanted to, and he doesn't want to. That's one of our ships, indeed. I was really thinking of the civil unrest angle, because all those scenes that we see of unrest among the civilians, unrest among the military, one of the commanders giving direct orders of get away from our leader, which I'm assuming was what allowed Orinoga to just roll up and drive by, shoot him in the head. So I guess that order was beneficial. Everything pointed to some sort of a rebellion, some sort of a civil unrest. Apparently not. And yeah, of course, now I'm having fun. That's a direct confirmation. He's been possessed by the demon that dwells within all weapons. Are you a Mechanicus? It honestly seems important enough of a line to take a note of. Gundam, Mercury, Saitou-san, Kaina. There we go. The demon that dwells within all weapons. The demon that dwells within all weapons. And I'm gonna timestamp that just in case. 542. Episode 11. Okay, it seems too important to be just a throwaway line. Deluding them into thinking a weapon's power is truly theirs. Is it some sort of a chivalric thinking? Maybe something like that? Where, sure, the weapon might be powerful, but don't delude yourself into thinking its power is yours. It's the power of the weapon. You yourself are powerless. You're only as powerful as the weapon you wield. That's sort of a philosophical thinking, maybe. Maybe, and I guess it was kinda, sorta, not really, or maybe, the Admiral's downfall, where he saw the power of the builder, of the architect, as his own, and thus thought himself unkillable, indefeatable, but turns out he's just a human after all. Maybe. Also, I like the detail of when Amelothe hears it, she just looks at her power armor, right? Like, am I deluding myself? This is something I wear, but is this actually mine? Is this actually my power? It's a relic, so it isn't necessarily mine. And the power I have, is it really mine? If this power armor was taken away from me, would I be as good at doing what I'm doing, at fighting, as I am now? It's a nice detail. Her just briefly taking a look at her weapon, at her arm. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Although, a little bit of trivia time. Human brain, when you're using a tool or a weapon or whatever, actually thinks of it as a part of your own body. That's why when you pick up some tool, like, I don't know, a pair of tongs to flip something on a grill or something on a whatchamacallit, on a pan, you usually, maybe it's just me, but many people just, snap the tongs twice, right? You pick up scissors to cut something, you give them a little snip snip, especially if it's a tool that you use rarely or it's not yours. It allows human mind to kind of align itself to it, kind of, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Sync up with it a little, right? Confirm the tension in the spring, confirm the range of it, confirm how much the hand needs to close for the tongs to close, so that it can operate the tool as if it was part of their body. Interesting thing, interesting stuff. Human mind, human brain is infinitely interesting. Quickly this way, she's on fire. You really could have just pulled her out and taken her coat off, because it was only the coat that was on fire, or you could have used your own coat, or you could have just thrown her into the sea, or you could have pulled her out first and then extinguished her. But no, you decided to throw the map into the room that's on fire. Great decision making. You're gonna make a great ruler, Liliha. She will. I mean, we all know that she will, but I couldn't help but give her just a little bit of a jab. Nothing to worry about. She entered the very apathetic mode. I recognize this slumping walk and fairly emotionless voice after something very important happened. It's interesting. I really like seeing all those different emotions and all those different states that the characters of this show are going through. Toa Heavy Industries. Oh, it's read like that. Okay, and yeah, the symbol on Kaina's laser cutter. Does it actually read Toa Heavy Industries? I mean, I trust that it does, but it's just 4 characters. Oh, I don't know Monoruns, so I'm not gonna say anything about it. Yeah, again, civil unrest. Again, the thing that I thought is going to be the downfall of Valgia, but alas. Rumor has it there's a hero from the canopy in Atlant. You can't destroy Atlant. And the Ascender, aren't the two related? A lot of things were really pointing at the civilians and even the military of Valgia, figuring that hey, maybe there is a better way. Maybe we really shouldn't fight Atlanteans. But they decided to not go with that angle. Everyone wants to see for themselves, indeed. Orinoga having a lot of faith in Amelothe. Take care of them, and he's going to stop the monster, of course. I will, you have my word. And Amelothe is a woman of her word, of course. He knows he's stupid, probably. But she gives her word nonetheless. Everybody retreating, of course. And yeah, this isn't even strategic anymore, it's chaos. Your army is just there, it's just a decoration. The Admiral really just wanted to fuck shit up. And the army was just a pretense. So of course it's gonna be a chaos, it's not gonna be strategic, because you don't have your strategist. You don't have your leader, because the leader is just swinging in the middle of battle. Atlan's no longer fighting back, the war should be over. We have to remember, most of Valgians are people from nations conquered by Valgia. So all of them remember how the war looks. And perhaps, in case of some of those nations, actually once that nation stopped fighting, Valgia just ceased fire and assimilated them. But this time around, the Admiral seems fairly obsessed with the king and with Liliha, so we have the situation that we have. The flag was burned, of course. I went all the way to the canopy to stop this war. Yeah. A little bit of self-loathing, but thankfully she shakes it off. I like it. I like how she's maybe not all business, but when things matter, she just throws away that sadness, throws away everything, and just spurs into action. Just goes tunnel visioned into action. That's great. I really like that about her. She can be infinitely sad one moment, but once she needs to do something, something happens, snap, full focus. Yeah, that's right, I want to stop this pointless war. Bit of a blink and determination. Show no fear even in the face of such power. The king too. Unforgivable. This is just unforgivable. Let me inflict the worst pain of all in front of your own daughter. Die. That was some great aim. And this is interesting tidbit. Apparently the Admiral feels what the Architect feels. He was shot in the head, and his head is all ouchy. He was shot through the torso, and he felt like he was shot through the torso. Visual error, operating error, yada yada yada. Also, interesting display, I have to note. I thought that it might be made of like multiple circular displays, but when you zoom in, those circles also get bigger. And the dark spots, when visual errors occur, it's not like some of the round displays turn off. It's rather dots appear in the middle of them, or rather with complete disregard for where those displays are placed. Perhaps it's the structure of the camera that the Architect uses, like a multifaceted eye that insects have. Maybe. And it's zoomed partially digitally, so that's why the artifacts from the multifaceted eye, or whatever it's called, are also enlarged. How do those artifacts work, though? Who made this shot? Liliha, indeed. You need to run. Well, you're one to say, not running. Bit of a tumble, but thankfully, laser cutter, max settings. Again, What is the need for a laser cutter with this setting? Like, I'm not complaining, it's an amazingly cool moment, but, like, I have to ask this question. I'm assuming the original purpose is some mining equipment or just a general purpose tool. I can understand a setting that lets you cut some paper, lets you cut a bale of wood, lets you cut some concrete, but a setting that can annihilate a mobile suit and have the power to spare? Who needs that? And it's not like it's in some sort of a, I don't know, industrial mining drill on threads and, you know, all stuff like that. No, it can fit in your pocket. It's not like there's one of those. During the height of whatever civilization it was that made them, it was probably like you could order it online. I want to know more about this thing. Fuck the ocean. Fuck these spores. Fuck the planet. I want to know more about this laser cutter. Who made it and why? The power of technology compels you. That was a very interesting shot. Just smooth transition between the Admiral doing the reach and the Builder doing a reach. And blast off. I did not expect this sort of a power. I expected like a thick beam, don't get me wrong, but like a PVC pipe thick, maybe an arm thick, that can maybe slice the robot in half, right? Like with some struggle, Kaina could just slash it in half. I did not expect fucking Exterminatus in the pocket. That's just pocket Exterminatus. He could cut down orbital trees with it. Forget the ozone hole or whatever it's called. There's a big ass burning hole in the fucking canopy right now. Kinda just obliterated some village. I love the detail of the beam, which is comically large, honestly. Comically large. That's one of the reasons why I was laughing so much. Because the output is like, I don't know, this Lego piece, right? That's the output of the beam. And meanwhile, the beam is just, you know, going out of the output and doing whoop. It's comical. It's comical but cool. And as I said, I love the detail of the edge of this beam just scraping and burning and melting the ground. Yes. Yes, I love it. Also, great sound design. Almost forgot to mention. Great, amazing sound design on that shot. I have become Death, the destroyer of worlds. Like butter. Like butter. Hurts, doesn't it? Just chucks it away. Fight, I'm telling you to fight. Our forces still outnumber theirs. Perfect. Perfect. More. Please, more of this. I'm not interested in an episode of exchanging words. I'm not interested in we're not so different, you and I. I'm not interested in join me. I'm not interested in gloating. I'm not interested in spelling out their evil plan at the last moment, believing that it's the end for the protagonist as he's hung up near the ceiling over a pit of crocodiles. Completely impossible to rescue, of course, with the rope being tied somewhere to a wall, to a flimsy hook. And some, candle burning. When the candle burns through the rope, you will die. I'm not interested in that. There's a villain. Bang, bang, double tap for certainty. There's no villain. I love it. I love the way Admiral went out. It's great. Completely unceremonious. That's another thing. That's another great thing about it. There was no big fight. There was no clashing of the swords. There was no, oh, the Admiral has an edge. Oh, no, the Orinoga comes back. Oh, Orinoga has the Admiral kneeling. Oh, but the Admiral has pocket sand. Oh, but Orinoga... No. Admiral's talking, he's giving his orders and just gets shot in the head. Perfect. Fresh. So very, very, very fresh. I love it. And also the snow horse just chilling with its dumb little face. Just like that. Just like that. Well, that's no good. You don't seem particularly shaken over what happened. Cat the Admiral's monster, indeed. The fortress is very much done for. That must also be a relic from ancient times. See, this line, that also must be a relic, that must also be a relic from ancient times. It makes me wish this was some sort of a long-running series, or a series that had the goal still a ways off, because I want to see more of those relics. For no other reason than I just want to see more of those relics. I want for Kaina in episode 137 to have a robotic arm and an artificial eye, and I want Liliha to have a pulse rifle and a jetpack. Right? I really want that. I really want it to go there, scavenging for lost relics, rebuilding civilization along the way. Right? Sadly, we don't have any plot of, I don't know. Actually, there's a glimmer of hope. We don't know what's going to happen in the movie. I was about to say we don't have any plot device like 4 great monsters hiding in the world and you have to defeat them all to save the planet or anything like that, where you could have 30 episodes going after one monster and procuring the artificial arm, 30 episodes going after the other monster and getting an artificial eye, 30 episodes going after another, getting Liliha a jetpack, and 30 episodes going after another, getting Liliha her pulse rifle, and then 30 episodes until saving the world, or, something like that. We don't have that sort of a plot device. But the movie hasn't aired yet, and what if, it's just my wishful thinking, what if the great tree actually gives them water, which allows them to survive for long enough for Kaina and Liliha and perhaps Yaona and Amelothe, 4 people or 3 people. It wouldn't surprise me if Yaona chose to stay or had to stay, but Liliha, Kaina and Amelothe going for an adventure. to unfuck the planet. They have a short-term solution. Everybody has water, but Kaina read somewhere in the dungeons of the Great Orbital Tree that there is a pumping station somewhere, there is a solar reflector control panel somewhere, there is a I don't know, magma stirrer somewhere else, and they need to be turned on in a specific order to finish the terraforming process, or, you know, something like that. And they go for adventures, they get a ship, and we get fucking One Piece swimming around the ocean, turning on all those devices. Right, they turn on the solar reflector and suddenly it gets hotter. They don't need heavy coats. They get visual upgrade. Now they look different. They're wearing short sleeves and vests and that kind of stuff. They go after magma stirrer, and suddenly land starts raising from below the water. Then they go after the, what did I say? Like fluid pump or something, and the level of the sea starts dropping, right? That would be cool. Seeing the terraforming process alongside their long-form journey. But I'm hyping myself for something that doesn't exist and might very well not exist. Fuck. We have no chance against something that powerful. Indeed, I wonder how long it takes that cutter to recharge to that degree. White flag. Yep, we lost. We'll be following suit. Just turn around. Atlant won. Now where to go from here? Welcome the Valgians and go after the Great Orbital Tree. When you use the bar cutter, have the knob turn to just the first click. I guess there are other ways to use it. Indeed! Obliterating the planet being one of them. There was a scene that shows the cutter already charging like a single notch. Maybe you really are the sage, perhaps. Why are you holding Kaina at gunpoint? I mean, I know why. He's scary, he's powerful, he could obliterate Atlant if he wanted to, but he doesn't want to. And now he's officially recognized as Atlant's hero. And I hope Orinoga also gets recognized as a hero, and I hope he and Amelothe have a lot and lot of beautiful children. Peace talks. Where was that scene with the charge? I don't know, if I can find it. Why I wanted to find it is that the charge bar was at 0 spent battery, and I was afraid that maybe the laser cutter can do that beam attack, but only once, and then fries the electronics. But no, one of the lights popped on, so it's now perfectly fine for just cutting bark. Couple more hours and it will be fine for cutting steel, and eventually it will recharge to world-destroying power. Who made it? Taking a knee in front of the king, of course. But Liliha doesn't want people to kneel before the royalty. She wants to be the good queen. She wants to befriend Amelothe. We're not so different, you and I, Amelothe-san. And she's smiling. It was worth it just to see Amelothe smile. Tasty, tasty water. Enough for everybody. For how long, though? Because we need to remember that Atlant also has water issues. Still have a long way to go. And yeah, as I said, there is a copy of this flag in King's quarters, and apparently it's plenty readable still. It doesn't seem like the Great Rift, or whatever it was called, is marked here. but I guess they know the snowfall, the huge snowfall, will allow them to go past it anyway. So as long as they just put a snowfall on a boat, they don't have to worry where that rift is because they can just traverse through it. So I guess that doesn't matter much. Great Spire Tree. Retrieving the snowfoil, building a ship. I really thought they're gonna repurpose one of Valga ships, but it seems they are crafting one, maybe not from scratch. This is the soldier that died in episode 1, whose dagger Liliha was using. Right. I wonder where the people go. It's not like you can dig into the bark. Do they just throw the bodies into the sea and just place a commemorative tombstone without the body actually being there? Possible. Then I thought they're sending the bodies up to the canopy, which is a nice tradition. And it would also make sense, right? They don't have anywhere to bury the bodies, and throwing them into the ocean maybe feels iffy to them, but sending them up, sending them to the heaven, to the canopy, or whatever you want to call it, whatever they call it, that's nice and romantic and whatnot, so it would make sense. But no, apparently they're visiting the canopy village. I really did not expect it. I really did not expect to see the canopy again. Also, for what purpose? For what purpose are all of them floating up to the canopy? I don't know. And how are they gonna climb down? They're gonna go through the whole arduous process that Kaina and Liliha already did? All of them? I have no clue. I have no clue why they are going up to the canopy. Kaina and Liliha, I get. They want to visit. Sure. But Atlantean and Valgian soldiers? Are they perhaps making some sort of a stairway going down? Maybe. Maybe that's why they're going up. They're gonna start carving from top to the bottom to create a way to go through between the canopy and the surface without the need to float up and climb down on ropes. For what purpose, though? I'm not sure again. Painting some more. I guess charting the course. Yeah, I'm charting the course towards the great orbital tree. And the end. I was really expecting an after credits scene. But alas. Alas. What's this scene, though? This we didn't see. I mean, I know it's just the ending, and usually the scenes from the anime don't make it to the ending. To the opening, yeah, but not to the ending. But it really looked like it was Amelope standing against the giant robot. And the Valgians also standing up to the giant robot. The robot from the opening looked different, didn't it? Very different. I wonder if it was just... not the robot itself, but in the opening it was just heavily stylized Admiral. Maybe. I know, hard to tell. That's it. That's it. That was Ooyukiumi no Kaina. Oh, I have some serious case of headphone hair. That was the last episode of the main series of Ooyukiumi no Kaina, because there's still a movie. I wonder... do we have the date for the movie yet? How does it have 6.7 on my anime list? I mean, I know how. My anime list is notoriously bad at scoring. So I guess let's make up for it at least a little bit. Completed, 11 out of 11. Fuck it, I'm gonna give it a 10. Why not? After this last episode, deserves a 10, honestly. Sequel. Summary. Ooyukiumi no Kaina special and a sequel. What's that special? Okay, it's just a summary. That's gonna be airing, or aired, February 18. I think it was when Ooyukiumi no Kaina had a bit of a break for a week. They aired a summary episode? Maybe. The movie airs October 2023. October, not that far. Plan to watch, of course. And nothing in the description. Yeah, we just have the announcement. Nothing more on the topic. Oh boy. I'm honestly surprised with myself the most. I'm surprised with my own reaction to this episode. I don't know whether it's because I'm particularly rested today, or because I have a particularly good humor, or why, but this episode just did something to me, right? Did something for me. It really checked off the boxes of excitement, it was just great. I think what really made the moment of the beam attack so impactful for me was all the build up to it. Right? Like, come on, do something, come on, the tension rises, and at the perfect moment they release that tension. It was glorious. It was glorious. It's worth watching this series just for the final episode alone. And of course, possibly the best moment of this episode, if not of this show, the Admiral just getting headshotted. There was no big duel with Kaina, there was no big duel with Amelothe, just an acorn through the skull. And done. Didn't have a chance to defeat himself, didn't have a chance to monologue. Nothing. I love it. This was a great episode. Possibly the best one so far. Honestly. Although recency bias, of course, and I did forget many of details about the previous episodes, of course, as you do. But this one, double thumbs up. It was great. It was amazing. 10 out of 10. And also a perfect opening for the movie. Not a prequel, but kinda, for the movie. Right? It goes exactly as I thought. The Atlantean War gets concluded in today's episode, and the movie has the journey to the Great Orbital Tree. And we find that orbital tree, and everybody lives there happily ever after. Or we find instructions on how to unfuck the world. Either of the two. Hard to tell which. I also hope that if we're going for the unfuck the world scenario, they're gonna show us a time skip of how the world looks after it's unfucked. And I hope the movie actually answers some questions, because the series, the anime, posed many of them, didn't really answer them. And by many, I mean, right? Many. I guess we can quickly go through them, but I'm not gonna mark any as... although, actually, I guess a couple of them at least I could. Green, yellow, and orange, and I don't need black. Let's go through them real quick. Gothic Plate Chan joins our heroes, Amelothe, of course. We don't know that yet. We don't know whether she's gonna set off on the journey with us or not. Trees are a terraforming attempt. Unknown. Mobile cities. Valgia. Laser cutter can turn into a gun/lightsaber. Oh, it turned into a gun, alright. Snow is really pollen spores, we don't know for sure. Valga is killing the trees, we don't know. Headaches because of locked knowledge memories, we don't know, probably not. Trees are organic space elevators, unknown. Humans cannot float in the sea. That's essentially confirmed, but I'm gonna leave a question mark because why? Robot from the OP is the mythical sage. We don't know that, actually. The staff of the sage is a drilling for water, unknown. Robots like it planted trees, unknown. Forest is under the sea. Sage bot is there, unknown. Ascender, highlighted or underlined. We don't know what the ascender is, really. Kaina and Liliha's bloodlines have something to do with trees, that's why they see the spirit, unknown. Spirit resides in the necklace. Necklace is a device, necklace is a key, unknown. Aliens planted the trees, bugs served them, unknown. Crystalline particles breathed out underwater, what's the deal with that? Water and canopy are the same substance, trees pump it up, unknown. Snow sees spoken word, canopy written word, right, that they pass things by speech on the snow sea and by written word on the canopy. Kinda, sorta. I'm gonna use yellow because it's not a clear distinction. It's more that written word exists only on the canopy. Being able to dive and find a sunken key to unfuck the world, the breathing device that Kaina has. Trees catch space stuff to make ocean fluid and store it, unknown. Weird skull thingy, episode 5822. I'm not gonna go back to that episode, so let's leave it at that. People of Canopy and Sea and evolve differently, unconfirmed. The planet is not Earth. Humans try terraforming, unknown. Valgians use their original tree to build the fleet, implied but unknown. Valgia using words for population control. I think it was confirmed. Correct me if I'm wrong. Population control in the meaning of getting more population. Liliha is a bait for Kaina set up by Amelothe. No, I think that was confirmed to be false. Liliha was genuinely kidnapped. Valgia's original tree fell. They used the wood to build a fleet and rob other countries of water. Since a fallen tree no longer pumps, provides it. I'm not sure about that. Was it confirmed or was it not? I'm not sure. I'm gonna leave it. Amelothe finds our heroes in Valgia and decides to help. Nope, not what happened. Giant robot needs a password to work. Kaina can read it. Nope. Giant robot is actually an exosuit. Nope. Main characters are imprisoned. Admiral reveals he doesn't want to solve water problems. Kaina. Cause that means no more reason for war. Amelothe frees them. None of that happened. Valgia has compasses, unknown. Amelothe chases Trio to the Great Tree. Gets convinced to stop fighting and join. Out of the question right now because Amelothe has no reason to chase after them. Admiral's right eye is blind. Cataract, his eye patch is actually Inuit sunglasses monocle. We don't know that and we won't know that because he's fucking dead and good riddance. Architect and Amelothe arm come from the Great Orbital Tree, unknown. Admiral knows of it. We don't know that. Orinoga and Amelothe end up together, remains to be seen. And the demon that dwells within all weapons. This much, confirmed or unconfirmed, the rest remains to be seen in the movie, hopefully. There's still a long time until that movie comes, huh? I don't think I have anything more to say. Honestly. Is there anything more to say? No, I don't think so. It was just a great finale. another callback to the previous civilization that's very heavily implied to have lived here. Implied, we have relics after them, we have the signs and all that jazz, so of course there was some sort of a previous civilization. We don't know whether they were spacefaring humans who figured they're gonna make a colony here, or whether it's Earth of the future. That remains unknown. But we know that Toa Heavy Industries exists, and they made both the laser cutter and the builder, probably construction equipment, both. Although who needs a planet cutter in construction equipment? Handheld planet cutter, Jesus fucking Christ. And besides that, we didn't really get any more answers or confirmations or anything like that. It was just an overall good ending where the robot was defeated, where the Admiral was defeated, and Valgians are, to some degree, living among the Atlanteans. We don't know what the deal is with their visit at the canopy. That's gonna be interesting if they follow up with that in the movie. It was mostly just a finale, and that little bit of a setup. This slideshow, this show, not a slideshow, but this compilation of disjointed scenes, vignettes, was a setup for the movie, right? Making the ship with the great snowfall, charting the course, and all that jazz. So I guess dual purpose episode. One criticism I would have for it is that they really could have used the time of the ending to give us a little bit more of those vignettes. Just a little bit. Like, I'm not asking for a lot, but make them a little bit longer. Give some purpose as to why they're going to the canopy. Not just Kaina and Liliha, but also all those soldiers. Right? Expand on that just a little bit. They didn't. They chose to have a proper solo, so to speak, ending. And that's also fine. I have no qualms when it comes to the pacing of the episode itself. Just that, after the war kind of set of vignettes that could have been a little bit more elaborate. Anything else? No, I think that's it. I don't think I have anything more to say on the topic. Not until the movie, of course. But if you have something more to say, then please do, absolutely. Down in the comments below, for example. You can tell me what you thought of this episode, of my theories, of my reaction, stuff like that. There is no fear of spoiling me anything, because the movie isn't out yet, so talk to your heart's content. If you want to talk more in real time, or have spoilers for some other shows, there's Discord here, also linked in the description. Join it, and there's an Ooyukiumi and a Kaina channel there that you can use to talk about that stuff. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Ooyukiumi and Kaina, because there's still a movie ahead of us, but also Gundam, Witch from Mercury, Symphogear XV, Benriya Saitou-san Isekai ni Iku, I still have to finish that one, and other shows that will be coming in the future. I did take a look at the shows of this season, so you might want to check out the VOD of that stream to see what I might be watching. I also stream sometimes, so you might want to click the bell icon somewhere here to be notified whenever I go live. Subscribe, already said that. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, for example, link in the description below. For $10 a month, you can get early access to non-seasonal shows like Symphogear, Madoka Magica, that I am still yet to watch the movie of, and others coming in the future. And for just $1, you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, share my content, spread the word, costs you nothing, helps a lot. And now, with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers. And here's the outro of my wonderful Patreons: QB, Bobbin, Without a Net, Fruit, Zai, Rainer, Akamancer, Marsh, Yuki Ally, Cure Dynamic, Fussel, and of course Dr. Watt and Hans Peter. And you can join them, and you don't need a snowfoil to do that.